What's up guys, C2113 here, and in today's video we're going to be unboxing the brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. Alright guys, so what we got here is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, and this is the 512GB version in black. Now, I pre-ordered this from Samsung.com, so if you get it from Amazon, I think they're not actually going to ship until tomorrow. I'm filming this on the 26th of August, 2021. If you order it on August 27th, or I'm sorry, if you order it on Amazon, it'll only ship on August 27th. So, but I happen to get this thing a day early. Now, if you're wondering why I'm wearing gloves, simple reason. With that big display and the front display also being both covered in a plastic screen protector, which I currently don't want to take off. To keep the video kind of neat so it's not covered in fingerprints, I'm just going to wear the gloves. Excuse that, I know it's weird, but just for you guys, it's going to look a lot nicer if the phone isn't covered in fingerprints. All right, so this thing shipped out from Texas, and I did the pre-order actually on the 21st, so not that long ago. However, they wouldn't ship the phone until 2 days ago because of Samsung's desire to make sure that everyone got it only around the launch date or the release date. Let me just make sure I don't have any information in here. Now, there's more than just the Z Fold that's supposed to be in here. We're also supposed to be getting the S Pen, the Fold Edition S Pen, and also the folio case or whatever it is. We're going to take a look at both of those things. I just want to double check to make sure I don't have any shipping info in here. All right, I'll just take my shipping info in the box out of the picture. And here we go. So very nicely packaged. Definitely not concerned about damage. So let's see what we got. All right, there's our S Pen case. Flip cover with the S Pen Fold Edition. You can see it even says in there Fold Edition. Now again, guys, this is just an unboxing video, so I'll definitely be giving you guys more videos on the phone and my experiences with it, but I just want to be able to get you guys something about this since I know a lot of people are interested. So this is just going to be an unboxing and like initial setup. I'll basically set it up and then I'll come back and show you guys what it's like. But in terms of like getting my actual thoughts and the software implementation and all that, that'll be a separate video. So why don't we go ahead and check out the phone first. Take care of these. And yeah, all right. There it is. There's the Fold. So to compare, right, there's my Note 9. It's essentially two Note 9 screens next to each other, but a little bit narrow. I'd say like maybe 2/3 of a Note 9 screen on each side. But it's about the same height, honestly. I got this rugged case on here, so obviously it's a little bit taller, but it's still quite a large device. So let's just take this thing out. And before we address this, let's just address the overdone elephant in the room at this point. No charger in the box for a near $2,000 phone. That is a little disappointing, but you know what? At this point, I have so many chargers, I guess I can't complain. I will say, even if I never used it, I still feel like that should be in the box for that amount of money. Now, with these phones, when you do the pre-order, you get some credit that you can spend on accessories, so that's why I was able to get this S Pen case, and I was able to get an S Pen Pro. Now that hasn't arrived yet, and that's going to be here in early September. I think it's a little bit delayed. So all we've got in here is documentation. There's a USB-C cable, USB-C to USB-C, and then there is your SIM removal tool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the phone itself because, well, that's what you want to see. Wow, that is quite something to hold. I'll tell you, if you've seen one of these or you've seen a million videos, it really doesn't do it justice until you hold it to feel just how solid it is. I was worried it was going to feel cheap with this hinge, but let's go ahead and unwrap this. Okay, so there's our front display with a pre-installed screen protector on it. And then there is the main display with that under display camera. And it seems like there's also some sort of under display cutout for some sort of, I don't know if it's a proximity sensor or what it is, but I'm gonna try and get it so that you guys can see it. So can you see, like, right to the, well, my left, your right, of the under display camera, you can see there's another cutout there. That's got to be for some sort of sensor, but they didn't mention it in the presentation, and I haven't seen anyone else talk about it. All right, that honestly feels wrong. Why does that feel? It feels, oh man. Am I missing something, or? That is crazy. So it just feels like it shouldn't bend. Let's see. Nope. Oh, it's bending. That is wild, guys. Like, that's what I'm saying when I say that this thing really does feel solid. I don't know if you guys can see that, by the way. I don't know how it's showing up on camera. The crease on this particular device is far less prominent than all the videos that I've seen. And again, that's probably something to do with just the video, you know, making it look a lot worse than it is, but it definitely looks a lot less severe. So why don't we go ahead and turn this thing on and we'll see what we get. Yeah, it's my first time starting this thing. Interesting. So it says Samsung Galaxy. Usually when you boot up one of these phones, like if I boot up my Note 9, it says Galaxy Note 9, but here it just says Galaxy. All right, we're booting up here. All right. What I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna go ahead and set up the phone, and then I'll come back, and then we'll talk more about the features and some of the basics of the phone. And then I'm gonna try and get some time with it to give you my first thoughts. I'm also gonna do a video comparing these two phones, the Note 9 and the Z Fold 3. Now you might think that that's an odd comparison, but I really don't, because I've been a Note user for over 3 years and I really enjoy this phone. And honestly, going from a Note that has, I would call the Note 9 the last sort of no compromise Note, to a phone that, albeit being extremely cutting edge, also has a lot of compromises. To me, it's a worthy comparison, because if you're going from basically a high-end workhorse device to another purportedly high-end workhorse device, then you might want to know what you might be gaining, what you might be losing. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set this thing up. Again, I'm probably not going to do the full data transfer or anything like that. I'm just going to get some basics going, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I'm actually in the process of doing the data transfer. I figured, you know what, we might as well just get it done. That being said, while we're waiting for that, why don't we take a look at the flip cover here with the S Pen Fold Edition, see what comes with it, and what my initial thoughts are. Now, the one thing that I am not super thrilled about is just the fact that there's no silo for the pen on the new Fold. I love that it has S Pen support, but I don't love that there's no way to store it in the device. And that requires me to get a case like this, which, you know, I really don't like folio cases. I mean, I think there'll be some occasions in which I'll use this, but the reality is I'm really hoping that the aftermarket provides here, because there is good potential for a better mounting solution than this. That's certainly not my favorite solution. So you can see this is the S Pen Silo. Here's the S Pen Fold Edition. It slots in like that. Pretty self-explanatory. However, this can also be slid out. There's actually a little sort of tongue and groove set up here. And so it just has a little groove there on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. And then it just slides in like that. So you can actually take this and just keep it with you in your pocket, which honestly, I might end up doing that if I don't end up liking this, because I'm not a fan of the folio cases. You know, the fact that this is going to end up extending past the edge of the display because it has to include that curve. And then if you wanted to just use the phone without opening it up, you basically just have this flap hanging out. And then if you want to close it like this, well, then you can't use the camera. So it's just not my favorite thing in the world. You've got your spare tips and a tip removal tool in here for your S Pen. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish getting the data transferred, and then we'll hop back in, and then we'll try out the case and check out the S Pen just to close out the video. All right, guys, so I'm just about done with the setup. Obviously, it's still transferring data, so you see all it says is you're all set and finished. I took my glove off my right hand, obviously, because I was setting up the fingerprint sensor. Go ahead and see what it does. All right, so it set up the basics here. Let's take a look and see what it looks like on the front display. And let's see if I unlock it. So yeah, it didn't actually transfer over any of the layout of my phone that I was hoping, but that's all right. Yeah, it's still transferring data, but I gotta say, I never got a chance to use the Z Fold 2, but I know lots of people were complaining about how sticky and greasy feeling and just unpleasant the screen protector was. And based on the descriptions that people were giving of it, to me, it seemed exactly like those old school Zag style screen protectors, you know, those real soft, self-healing ones. And just based on some videos I've seen of people pulling it off, I could see how stretchy and flexible it was. This is nothing like that. This is very smooth, other than the fact that it has a little bit more give, obviously being a foldable display and also being not glass. It has a little more give than a glass screen protector, but in terms of, you know, frictional coefficient, it is very nice to use, not at all unpleasant. So that is a huge improvement, and I'm assuming, based on a lot of other people who did have the Z Fold 2, it is a huge upgrade. On the front, you have a very narrow aspect ratio, and again, you do have a slight curve on the edges, and you have a plastic screen protector applied on the front as well. This is something where I do wish that they went with some sort of glass screen protector, although I know those are a lot more difficult. Pretty much because of the curves, unfortunately, your only option is probably going to be something like the Whitestone Dome type screen protector with the UV activated liquid adhesive. However, the one thing that also irritates me is the cutout for the camera. You know, realistically, the camera looking through a thin film of a screen protector isn't going to be that bad for image quality, but what it will do is cause lint and dirt to collect around the camera. So to me, I'm probably going to end up replacing this just to see. You know, if I'm completely wrong, you know, I'll eat my words and I'll say, hey, you know, don't get a screen protector that doesn't have a cutout. But in my years of experience with both plastic and tempered glass screen protectors, I have never found any noticeable benefit of having a cutout for a camera with a screen protector over just having the screen protector go over the camera. Especially when it comes to cleaning, like I said, lint just collects around here. It's not a smooth surface, it's obviously rough, and it gets very difficult to clean. So I would have preferred to see just a flat screen protector. Maybe Samsung knows something I don't, but in reality, the perceived quality improvement of the image by having nothing covering the camera is well overshadowed by the fact that grease and dirt and lint collects around that cutout and ends up oftentimes obscuring the actual image. Let's take a look at that fingerprint sensor, see how fast it is. So yeah, definitely nice. You know, I played with the under screen fingerprint sensors like on the LG V60. There's no comparison. A physical capacitive fingerprint sensor still always works better. So again, guys, I'm gonna let this finish transferring. It's gonna take a while, but once it's done, I'll come back and then we'll finish by trying out this case and the S Pen, because unfortunately I can't disconnect this cable until after we're done with the transfer, and as a result, I can't put this case on. So once this is all done, I'll jump back in and we'll finish up. All right, guys, so I've had a chance to play with this thing and set it up. So you can see I've got my always on display. I've got my lock screen set up. There's Squeak. I've even got a different wallpaper on the inside. So for me, I know some people will prefer having a mirrored setup with basically all the apps and layout on the inside screen is mirrored on the outside. But for me, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the large display. The whole point is the front display, you know, having that narrow aspect ratio and being a smaller screen, it should just be for your get in, get out apps. So let me just unlock this real quick. I've reduced my number of apps here. I'm still working out which ones I really need and which ones I can kind of move to another screen or just leave in the app drawer. But for now, I've reduced the number of apps and stuff significantly, and I've got all my important stuff towards the bottom. And then when I open up to the large display, so first of all, you can actually have 8 things down here and in your bottom home bar or dock area. And so I don't even have 8 there right now, but if we can see, I can drag camera down there and make that go in there. And so that significantly reduces the number of apps you need to keep up here. Even if you're like me and you like to have things sort of quick access on your home screen, you don't have to do that. You can stick up to 8 things down here and reduce the number of apps here significantly while still having things on your home screen readily accessible. So with that being said though, I'm gonna need a little bit more time with this thing to really get used to it, but I didn't forget, guys. I did promise you that we're gonna take a look at this flip cover with the S Pen Fold Edition. So let's go ahead and see how it fits together. I don't wanna leave this directly on the floor, so we'll take that out. So there's the case. And we'll go ahead and pop this in. I don't know if it gave us any instructions. Basically, yeah, pop it in, button side first, and then sort of work it around. So let's just do that. Okay, seems pretty straightforward. And if I close this display, there you go. And then we'll put the S Pen on there, slide it in. There we go. Got the S Pen on there. And if you don't want the S Pen, obviously super easy to remove. Now, when you have this thing completely open, of course, you see it hangs out, right? That's just the nature of the beast here with this being attached. However, when it comes to your actual S Pen, I did have a little bit of time to play with that. And I gotta say, it feels really nice. Like I've seen tons of videos where people were talking about, oh, well, you know, it feels spongy because it's got a spring in and stuff. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You actually have to press with what I would consider an inordinate amount of pressure to get the spring to activate. This screen is obviously much, much stronger. And to me, it doesn't feel any different than the S Pen that like I use on my Note 9, for example. And on my Note 9, I wasn't exactly grinding my S Pen in anyway. So for me, the change is basically non-perceptible. I mean, the only thing that probably changed was they made this tip extra soft to avoid any sort of scratching. But other than that, this thing is super easy to use. I really enjoy it. And obviously, even though you don't have a silo, so it can't detect when the S Pen is out, for people that were saying you don't have access to the Air Command menu, with all due respect, that is BS, because you can simply hover the pen near the screen, your Air Command shows up, and you can tap it, or you can also, while you're hovering over the display, over the digitizer, and you can see the little indicator right there, you just press the side button, and you know, like every S Pen ever, your Air Command menu comes up. So that really isn't an issue if you want to be able to access your Air Command menu, because I know that was something that I had a question about. And something else I was wondering is, so let's say we go to a YouTube video. I'm going to tap on my YouTube video here. One of the things I was wondering is, can you actually still highlight text manually even when it's a non-selectable field? Because that's one of the huge benefits of the S Pen. Well, yes, you can. So you can see that if I were to normally use my finger, there is no way to highlight the text here. But if you have an S Pen, you can highlight that text. And so again, to me, these are the features that matter the most with the S Pen. Yes, on my Note 9, occasionally it's fun to use my S Pen as a camera shutter button so that I can remotely, you know, take a picture while holding my phone super still. Or it's also nice to be able to use it as a play pause button for media and music. But at the end of the day, by far the biggest uses for my S Pen are things that don't actually require the Bluetooth. And so for me, I'm actually quite satisfied with this S Pen. I don't know why everyone else has been complaining. But of course, this is just a preliminary unboxing. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to take some more time to get used to the phone, get a real feel for it, and see how it works in my day-to-day life. But if you guys liked the video, be sure to give me a like. If you have any questions, comments, or your own experiences, maybe you got this thing way earlier than me, leave that in the description below. And if you want to check it out, I'll leave links for it below, as well as the flip cover and the S Pen and even the S Pen Pro. And as always, if you want to see more, including tons of other videos on it and my full review, don't forget to get subscribed.